Take two. We're gonna try to get cannabis, the Family Tree Cannabis Company, aka Nick, on here. Um, he just tried to jump in. He wouldn't let him join. I'm telling you, if we have too many, what up? What's cracking? If we got too big of personalities, man, I don't think they like us coming together. I'm trying to tell you, they did the same thing with Stony Eyes. What's cracking? They tried to do that with Trey Strongs. They didn't let him join either, even though we did everything under the books and try to figure out how to do this, how to get it going. And then sometimes, right as I say that stuff, it just ends up working. So we'll see what happens, you know. Defiant, Stony was cracking. Defiant, I gotta pop some more seeds, brother. And also, I gotta make the video of the sweater that you sent over, man. I'm so sorry. I haven't put it on. It's a white one, and I don't like to get white stuff dirty, especially when it looks that nice. Looks that nice, brother. I don't want to fuck it up. I want to keep it clean, you know. But it is a beautiful sweater, man. Defiant Seeds, man. Go check him out. Pimp's got it. He's doing his thing. Let's see here. Did you get the invite? No problem. Good, doggy. Good, doggy. I ain't trying to trip, man. I ain't trying to mess it up. There he is right there. Okay, let's see if we could join him in. We can get in there. Instagram, man.
Hey, there
Hey,
we go, man. What's up, man?
what's up, brother? I can't see you. Can you see
I can
me?
see you.
You can see me, but I can't see you. Wow. Fuck it. Can everybody
Okay.
else see? Everybody, let me know what you guys can see over there. If you could tell, if you could see us. Um, how's your day going, by the way?
Uh, just chilling, man. Been relaxing. Well, never really get to relax, but man.
Yeah. Okay, El Connoisseur says that they could see us both. I just can't see you, but fuck it, man. Let's roll with it, huh?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I can see you, Slut, so we're good to go, man.
Good, good. At least at least we could do something right here. At least we're not fucking going into a blind, right?
Yeah, man, that's what's up, dude.
Good, good. So, if you've watched the show, sometimes my first question is always I ask everybody, where did you come up with your name? So I wanted to know, where did you come up with your name, sir?
Talking about the family tree name.
Yes.
Okay. So uh, me and a buddy of mine, he I've known him. Well, I had known him for probably like 10 years, man. I met him when he was like probably a young teenager when I bought my house,
Okay.
and as he got older, he was smoking buds, and he showed me his bud, and I was like, man, that's some fucking boof, man.
The
And
booth?
I was like, dude, yeah, I was like, man, trust me, dude. I said, that's not bud, man. He's like, no, man, it's from the West Coast. I said, no, okay, but they're not letting go of their good bud, man. They got great bud, but you're getting shit bud, man. So do
Yeah.
show you how to grow some good bud, man. So uh, we were like, the governor decided to make it legal here, so we were like, hey, let's start a thing.
Uh,
So we created the company name and did started some paperwork, man. But still waiting on politics, man. You know how that
um,
is. But
the what's that word? Bureaucracy.
bureaucracy of it all, man. Yes, dude.
That one
Yeah,
too.
they're
That
not.
fucking bullshit.
Yeah, they're not doing what the people want. But regardless, my buddy, I was trying to teach him everything I knew, that I had learned from old heads over the years and all different coasts and everything. And unfortunately, some stuff happened to him, man, and he was shot earlier this
Um,
year. So,
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
yeah, I
But
posted it on my
rest
wall
in
and
heaven.
rolling with the name in his memory now, man. And
Good.
it's my boy, dude. So now I kind of on a mission to get rid of shit bud around me and to do some shit, now in his name, man, since he's not with us anymore. And he was a young cat, dude. He's like 20, 21 or 22, man. Way too young to be taken from this world, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just sad, man.
Yeah, it's sad, but hey, at least you're keeping his memory alive with his name, you know. And if you end up making it big, you could like, do a big gesture for him, you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. That's, I kind of touched with the cannabis, I'm hoping down the road someday they make a route for the little man. We got, like I've said it before, I'm gonna keep preaching it, man. We got Budweiser. Where's my craft grow, man? And it's like
Yeah,
Banner said on the Dude Grows show. I don't know if you ever watched that, but they were talking about it. And it's kind of like you go to a bar and it's
yeah,
acceptable to drink, and they'll serve you dinner. You can go drink till 2, 3, 4 a.m. in some places. Hop in your car. Now, you might get a DUI if you're drunk,
yeah.
but nonetheless, nobody's stopping you from hopping in your car.
Perfectly
But
fine.
God forbid, a cannabar, and you don't. Shit, man. I've driven drunk. I got 2 DUIs. I'm ashamed of it, but I don't drink anymore. It's been
Yeah.
years, and but
Congratulations
bud, man, it just doesn't
on that.
affect you the same. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Me too. Also, I stopped drinking about 6 years ago, and I haven't looked back. And one thing that I just cannot stand is how acceptable it is to get drunk and go act stupid, but you can't
Yes.
smoke a fucking joint and chill out and calm down. You know what I mean?
Bro,
Like,
I've lost many a wallet. And the next morning, hungover, got to go to the DMV, get a new license. Never happened on weed.
yeah, man. So one thing that I've always thought about it is like, no, because I always say that alcohol is the real gateway drug. Like, because nobody's ever smoked a joint and said, hey, let's go do a bump of coke, or let's get in the car and go driving all stupid or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
nobody has ever done that. Ever eaten an edible and been like, hey, man, you know what? I feel like I'm going to go say some shit to my family that I shouldn't be saying, or you know what I mean? Like, doing the shit that
Facts,
alcohol
man.
does.
Facts, bro. You're preaching.
Fucking preaching to the choir, I know, but we need to be spreading this word because these people out here still do this shit, dude. And what my envision, like, because at the end of this, I'll ask you, like, I always ask the question, what do you think the future of the cannabis industry is, right? And my vision is to have it as normal as drinking alcohol, you know?
Right. No, yeah, dude, that's my vision too. And my dream, literally, since I've been 13, man, is to have like a craft brewery. Like I was talking to my friend the other day, like for real, man. And I'm sure other people have dreams like this and have thought of this idea. But my thing is like a low lit little jazz bar with a live band playing jazz in the background, or some low key blues, And on the chalkboard, I'll have like 50 strands. We'll just throw a number, just joking out there, but 50 to 100 that I juggle, because Clown likes to juggle some strands,
That's
man. And
a lot, brother. That's a lot.
it's doable with live. Hey, look, with live organic soil, it's doable because the plant feeds
Yeah.
how it wants to, and you're not force feeding and making mistakes, man.
Yeah.
And this is all my opinion too now. But like say like every day you walk into my little jazz toke bar, there'd be like 10 strands on the chalkboard you can choose from. Grower's choice, man. Like that's my dream, dude. I'll pay my
Hell yeah.
taxes, like give a man a route, dude. For real, for real.
And
And
on
the
top
corp,
of it, the amount of money that the government can make out of this if they federally made it legal would be, I think they would get enough money for their wars and all the other shit that they want to do that they could leave us alone and let us just make our product and start to make
man,
our,
nah, dude,
start to
they're already
monopolize.
bumping enough money into that war. Take
Oh,
that
yeah.
tax money and put it into the homeless and the veterans and the
Oh, shit.
infrastructure of
No, I
America,
know
man.
that's
Put it
what
back
we
into
want,
our
but that's not
country.
what they're going to do.
Hey, dude,
Them,
they're already doing what they want. This is what they need to do. And people, look, whether you agree with voting or not, get out there and do your part and vote these schmoes out that aren't doing the part that we want them to, man. Like for real.
facts.
Because until we do our part, ain't nothing gonna be changed, really not, man. It's really
Yeah.
not, dude.
I think everybody's starting to get the gist, or starting to get that understanding that it's not just the presidential vote that you need to be doing. That you need to be
Yes.
doing the your straight up your hometown votes
Your
or
state
your
level, man, it's
state
huge,
level.
man.
Is that the legislative level? Is that the same
So
thing?
there's a few. So you have your federal legislative level, like in some states you have a state senate and a state congress and a governor, kind of like how the America's set up with your congress, senate, and president. So
Okay.
nobody can just steamroll something unless they have like all three, you
Yeah.
know. And they're both wrong at this point. They're both wrong, man. They're really just, they're not doing anything for the American people. But we'll stay away
Yeah.
from that, man. You know. So
Yes. Yes. So I wanted to know how long have you been growing for, sir?
I planted my first seed when I was 13 by my parents' house, just playing around. I'm 42 now, and
So that's oof,
and
like
I
I'm horrible at
started.
that.
uh, so what? That's almost 30 years, 29
30
years.
years.
I'll be 40. I'll be 43 in July,
Well,
and
congratulations, sir.
thank you, man. Uh, didn't see eye to eye with the rents when I was younger, so I was out at like 17-ish, and started taking growing seriously, hanging out with a lot of people that grew and delivering pizzas, and you know
Yeah.
that
You seem
that's
like you
where it
would
all
have been one of
began,
those
man.
pizza vatos, like a pizza guy that wanted to smoke and get high. Like you
Yeah,
seem like you
man.
give off that vibe.
I wanted to grow bud in Jacksonville, Florida, sell bud, deliver pizza, and I mean, school wasn't on my mind, man. But like I said, dude, I went and I studied because I love reading. I like
uh,
to read what I want to read, though, man, not what I'm forced to read. But I went and finished, man. I finished up high school on my own, man. They had programs there in Jacksonville, Florida, so I got my diploma on my own, and was in the library when I was studying for that, reading Ed Rosenthal and every other mofo that I could find and get my grips on to improve my game there, man, you know?
good. Yeah, that's the passion that we all need. And when you start to find something that you're interested in, man, you just go for it, right?
You have to, man. If you don't have a passion, then what are you doing? You only live once, man. So, you know,
Yeah,
everybody's got to have a passion, man.
I personally I didn't have a lot of passion and drive until, which is kind of sad to say, but until I got into a coma and died. Like I died
Oh,
for
man.
uh I think it was like 10, 15 minutes. They brought me back and then they flew me. I had cotton swine flu and they flew me to Portland and I was in a coma for 3 weeks and I finally survived, got through that, learned how to walk again, stopped drinking, and just was set on just building my life up to where something I hadn't done because I had already fucked up my life. I was very good at fucking up my life, but I wasn't too good at fixing my life, right? So when I came back
Feel you
together, I
there.
was like, fuck it. I'm putting all this pressure, I'm putting all my ambition, all my drive is going into fixing myself. And shit, I think I've done pretty good, Doug. Done pretty fucking good,
Hey,
man.
man, I see your page and you got your little show going, man. So you can't complain, dude. You were just in
Thank you, sir.
Hawaii with the family, man. Like, not too many cats can say that, you know?
You
Like,
know, I do what I do when I
yeah,
do what I
man.
do.
You gotta like I said, man. It's great that you're pursuing growing now too, man.
Yeah,
I think anybody should pursue it. What you know, my whole view is don't always take what I say because you get yourself in trouble. I don't give a shit if you're in legal land or not. You grow that cannabis, man. That was
yeah,
been always been my stance, you know, because
yeah. I don't
back.
feel like they're not busting down doors and like trying to take away your kids and all this shit that they used to do. Like
No, dude,
they used,
it's a lot different than it was in the '90s and the early 2000s. Like
yeah,
me and a buddy of mine, we used to go to the Hydro store in Jacksonville all the time, and you couldn't talk to those cats. Half of them were hemmed up with the authorities, man. Like for real, they were trying to find people to dime them out so they could do no time or less bid, or it was crazy, man. Florida's wild,
I've
man. But
heard a lot about it. I've
yeah,
heard a lot about it.
you had to be low key, man. I have friends who are growing in basements. man, I was living with this one cat, and he owned his house, but his parents were always over, and he had a little kid, so I understood where he was coming from in
You didn't want the
game.
kid to see it.
No, he didn't want anything to happen with social services,
Oh
and
yeah.
we're talking. This is like 2002, 2003, and maybe four. So he is like, bro, you got to move out, man. I was like, why? He's like, my parents, they busted up in your room and saw
They saw
saw
the butt.
saw the plants you were breeding in the closet, man. I was working on a 5-year strand at that point. It stunk too, man. Yeah, I was like, all right, man.
That's a lot
I found a
of
house
work,
and
brother.
went and set up shop in the house with the girl I was dating at the time, and got out of old boy's house, because I understand it not more now as I guess as adulting as I get. But man, some shit could have happened to him and his kid at that
Yeah.
time. Bad, man, because
Yeah.
shit was a lot different 20 years ago than it is now, And like you said, man, nobody's busting doors down. I mean, unless you're running hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pants and just flaunting it in people's faces. I mean,
Yeah. Unless you're
a
doing
lot of
some
people,
stupid shit,
yeah,
you're not gonna
man.
get fucked with. Yeah.
Dude, they spend more money on the war on drugs and other stupid shit, dude. They got more shit to worry about than some people growing a few plants, man. Like
Yeah,
for real. That's
this
my
natural
my
plant that
thought,
just
man.
grows. Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right there, brother. I think, but I gotta say, we are in a better time to where I highly suggest anybody who wants to try this out, who has been scared to try growing, but to just come into the community, come with open arms, ready to learn, hit up some people. You could hit me up. I'll drop you some beans just to get you started and just get the process going. Because I'm one of those people that love to just spark or to get the fire going on somebody when I see the spark, then I just want to nurture it. You know what I mean?
Yo, man, for real. Like on that note, I try and reach out to breeders whenever, man. You see me. I'm on Instagram. I'm encouraging people how to grow. I'm showing you what I'm doing and what I know works, and from people that I've studied and researched. And man, I look, dude hasn't made videos like over the almost 30 some years, but believe me, I've been taking notes for myself on what works. I'm not going to steer anybody wrong if they were to ask me a question, and
Yeah.
but on a note, if you're looking for some good seeds too, man, Prairie State Genetics, man, that dude, I've talked to him on the phone, like in real time, man, and
Okay.
he's a cool cat, bro. Justin, man, check
Good.
out his stuff too. He's giving good prices and he's giving good genetics, man. Dude's breeding with Ed Rosenthal's stuff. So you know how long Ed Rosenthal's been around, man. So
I
yeah,
don't.
man.
Well, who's
Ed
who's it?
Ed R's been around since the '70s, man. Look him up, dude. It's
Shit.
old head, man.
So he's certified.
Big old head.
OG. Put a
Oh,
stamp
dude,
on him. He's certified.
Ed's as old as it gets, man. Like for real,
Nice.
dude. He had handbooks on growing marijuana that I was reading in the late '90s at the library in Jacksonville, man. Old
Okay.
school,
Oh,
man.
so that's
Yeah, bro.
back in the day when there was that skunky danky shit,
Straight
right?
legend, man. Dude was breeding the dank. Probably knew the Indian who brought over the Northern Lights 5 from the hippie trek when the Dead were in the '72 tour. That's where all that shit came from, Afghanistan.
That
Sly, I'll talk
good
your ear
shit.
off. You gotta tell me shut up if you want to talk, man.
Nah, brother, I need that presence, man. You keep it going, doggy. That's what we want here. We want to
Yeah,
hear
man.
you
No,
keep going.
Ed's real
And so,
shit though, man.
okay,
But
because
Justin's been breeding with.
I grew some stuff, some Acapulco Gold, and
Okay,
you've heard of Acapulco Gold, I'm sure
came
everybody
from
has.
Mexico cartels, actually.
Yeah, oh, and this stuff, it was gold when I grew it, and it grew like I'd imagine better conditions nowadays because we have better technology, better feeds, all this stuff. So I got a really good fucking product out of that one, and it was from United Cannabis Seeds,
Hey,
and that
man,
can,
you ever watch you watch Netflix?
yeah,
Okay, you ever seen the cocaine shows or whatever?
no,
Okay, well, I think it's like season 2, man. It covers the Cali cartel, man, and the Cali cartel, the brother, is the one who created that Acapulco Gold, man. He has a huge weed head, and that was before they got into the cocaine game, man. And
and
then of course, like I mean, they Hollywood it some there, but that's facts, man. That shit, dude. Old boy, way back, way back in the '70s, and you know he was making that Acapulco gold,
Yeah.
man. So
I wish I was in the industry back then, brother, because I would have made so many connects, man. God, if I was
man,
there, I
you
would have
know
been
what, though, dude?
fucking.
Man, you would think that, man, but so much happens in the
Oh,
world because, listen, man, I've lived in Florida, I've lived in Santa Cruz, California, man. I've lived uh, all up and down the East Coast, man. I was in the Navy, so you meet a lot of
nice.
people, but a lot of people come and go, man. So always take what you can get from people, but you know, be hospitable. Don't burn your bridges. But yeah,
Oh,
man, you never
definitely.
know. You never know, man. Back in the day, compared to nowadays, man, when people were going to jail, getting raided, getting busted. Like, man,
And
couldn't
you
really
had to
talk
keep the
like you
information on
can
lock
now.
too. You couldn't just tell everybody about it, so you had to keep your information, you know, a little bit to yourself. And I mean,
I mean,
it's something that
people were
had to
on
be done.
forums when the internet came out. I remember when the internet came out, but you still felt like you were being watched and shit. You were. Look, Kim Dog got busted. They were watching him in forums, man, off of the Dead tour and shit, man. So, I mean, yeah,
And it's
it's
crazy, all over a
different
plant.
nowadays. Different nowadays, man.
And
Thank God too. You know.
yeah, shout out to Ohio for passing their
Yes,
uh,
Buckeyes. That's where my parents are from. I spent all my
nice,
summers up in Ohio.
thick with it.
Chillicothe represent, man. I got Hatfield in my
There's there's so many places that are gonna be recreational. It's just a matter of time, brother. Just a matter of time.
whole country should be legal, man. It should, man. If
I
you're
give
like I
it
say, get out there and vote. Vote the people
yeah.
into office that want it legal in the whole country and don't want to give it to Big Pharma. Big Pharma can have
Yeah.
their spot. They can have their medical grade, whatever they fucking shit they come up with, man. But we need people in there. They're gonna let the small man have their route, man. Like I keep saying.
Yeah, because there's enough for everybody to eat. I think at the moment there is at least.
There is enough
Uh,
bread at the table, but those those cats are greedy.
yes,
Hey, greed and power twist people, man.
yes. I will never underestimate the power of greed. All right. I'm just saying that there is enough room at the moment because, you know, a couple years from now, of course, those greedy motherfuckers are going to be over there taking as much as they can. You know, and they're not going to fucking leave us anything, which is fine. I really, personally, I just want to be able to grow and be able to spread the word to as many people as I can. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
man, I feel you there, man. That
And
greed's
giving
evil,
everybody the
man.
bomb. I'm just
Yeah, it made Rome fall, man. I don't know, dude. I'm saying, man.
Rome
But
ball.
some of those
Oh,
cats, yeah, some of those cats, it's like you feel like it would be maybe legal if there were a bunch of our generation in there, like making the
oh yeah.
laws by now, but they got this eagle grip that they don't want to let go, man. That old dinosaur is about to die, still want to be trying to tell us how to live.
Yeah, exactly. I was sitting there and I was watching this documentary. I think it was some show, and they were showing these business about those who were trying to get into investments on cannabis, right? And they had the big old investor, and they're sitting there pitching to him, and they're telling him, "Oh yeah, you know, there's it's $1,200 a pound or $2,400 a pound. What other crop goes for those kind of prices, right? And it's going to be this big thing." And all the investor fool was saying is he's like, I don't care about any of that. He's like, all I want is money. That's all I care
And that's
about. So just get me the money. And that
that's the
kind of shit
problem
turned
with
me
that
off
investment
so
shit.
fucking
Yeah.
bad. It was like, well, it was like that vato right there. He's the one that we don't need in this community, in this whole thing, because it should not be all about money. Yes, money is cool. And yes, money is, you know, it's essential, but I don't want it all about money, man. You got to be
No,
about the
it's
people, dog.
funny that you mentioned that. I was just talking with a dude the other day who was over, and he builds like these scooters, and he was talking to investors, and I explained the same thing that you just said. I said, you know, in my world, the problem with investors is these dudes aren't looking for quality. They're
Yeah,
looking for money turnaround. And I don't want to be attached to nobody like that. That's why
yeah,
I don't have any sponsors. I don't want one right now. Like if a deal came along good enough from a nice company, like, HLG,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, I'd hop on it, But
Yeah.
like, no, for real though, on a real note, man, if somebody's investing in you, they're looking for turnaround capital, and that's why, like Jerry, I want to pave my own way, man. I don't want the record company paying for my ride because
Yeah.
ass, grass, or gas, nobody rides for free. And dude wants to run his own joint, like I said, man. And if you got big money behind you, big money wants big numbers. And then big numbers are fine for some people, but in my opinion, you lose a lot of quality when you start pumping big numbers because you can't look after it the same, man. And there's a difference
Yeah,
between corporation weed and craft weed, man.
yeah, there's
Craft
that.
weed's got that love.
That's weird that equation. I think it's an equation because the bigger the grow, the less the quality. It's just the way it is. People, a lot of people could say, no, 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 no. Like you can't get the same quality if you get big. I have to disagree because every time that I see small batches, say 20 plants or 15 plants or something, if you go from a 2 plant grow, right? Your 2 plant will grow fucking dankety dank. But as soon as you start to get to a 15 plant grow, it's just the love's not there. I don't think there's enough love to spread around to each plant. That's what I
There's a
think.
lot. Yeah, there's a lot, man, because you can watch a lot of plants and maintain them. But like when you start getting to like really really huge like corporate type grows too, like when they go to like dry and cure, there's nobody paying attention to that kind of detail. And anybody can grow a plant, man. Not anybody can dry and cure a plant. And that's where the true art comes in, drying and curing a motherfucking plant. If anybody says different, then they just don't know growing weed, man. Because the true love is in the drying and curing. If you ain't doing it right and you're not putting that love into that dry and cure, then you're just pumping out some boof.
Yeah.
And that's
And
what
nobody wants
corporate's
booth.
doing. And then they're dude, these people are like even like doing some weird shit where they're like redoing the weeds so that they can get like the mold off of it so they can resell it and get under numbered. Man, there's some really crazy stuff going on, man. I read an article today, for example, about how these dudes, well, I'd read it a while back, but actually I reread it because I saw on a video some dudes talking about it. I was like, man, I know I read this somewhere, so I went searching, man. Dude likes the information, dude. So man, there's these cats, they're like trying to genetically modify seeds to boost THC levels and stuff. And then that makes you wonder, what are you really doing to the weed at that point? And then what are you smoking? Because you're not smoking weed if it's genetically modified, like to a certain point. You know what I'm saying? So, like, another reason why I'm like, when I'm like looking for people that I want to grow, I'm looking for like heads like dude at Prairie State is using like Ed's type stuff for dudes I know people hate him, but I'm gonna say it, blue skies, man. Dude's us on par. And man, spending time in Morocco, and I've been to Morocco when I was in the Navy, and the hash trade there's a real thing. And those cats are dealing with Afghani hash, not
Where's
this
Morocco?
fucking yeah, man. When I was I've been to 53 countries when I was
Where?
in the Navy. I ate camel
Hello.
in
Where's I can't,
Morocco, man.
I'm not thinking about
Morocco
where it's at. I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
Morocco's Northwest Africa, man.
Okay, okay. So African land
So
race, right? You're
Northeast
talking over there.
Africa's Egypt. I've been there. And
Okay,
Djibouti, Africa. I've been there.
okay.
Somalia, where the pirates are, the Red Sea. And then the west coast of Africa is you're like Morocco, Casablanca is in
So were
Morocco.
you just going around spreading the word of cannabis like
Nah,
all over
man,
the
I was in the
world?
Navy,
Or
homie. I was in
okay,
the
so you were in
Navy
the
for
Navy.
like
So you were
six. So
doing work.
I had to join the Navy to get off heroin, man.
Uh,
And it was like life or death, man. So at 26, I dropped my grows. I dropped everything I was doing, and I went and I lived with my parents for like a month, man.
yeah,
They let me in, and they were like, well, they didn't let me in. They let me stay in their guest house. I wasn't
yeah,
allowed in the main house unless somebody was home. But it's understandable nowadays, I was a shitbag,
yeah.
for
Yeah.
real.
Hey,
I was like
hey,
doing
I fucking
junk
don't
and
blame you,
growing
dude.
weed, dude.
Like people sit there, people still got to remember how I was when I was an alcoholic, and fuck, man, I wouldn't want my ass around either. Shit,
Yeah,
like
man.
I get it.
Yes, it's understandable. I joined the Navy, got my stuff together, man. You
Good.
know, I was in 6 years,
Congratulations.
dude. Thanks, man. I've been off junk almost 17 years now, man. I was on it for 10 years. I was eating at my worst, I was eating 3 Oxy 80s a day, one for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and doing a gram of dope and coke throughout the day. It was bad, man. It was
Yeah.
bad. And people do
Isn't it
bad things
amazing
when they
how
do
much?
that, you know?
I think it's amazing how much drugs and how much alcohol we can actually ingest. Like it's insane, bro. Holy shit! Once you build up that tolerance, you can fucking do a lot. Ugh.
Dude, it's bad, man. And you know what? The stuff that's out there now is even worse, man. I know I wouldn't
Oh,
be alive with all the fentanyl that's out there now.
fuck
And the
no.
only reason I really am alive because I have died, and an old buddy of mine brought me back. Like, you know, but my parents, man, they no matter what, man, they always kind of like they were there, dude. Good people there, man. That, you know, I don't always agree with what they've said or done, but end of the day, they
Good
have my
people.
best interest at heart, and that's what the love I give my son. I have his best interest at heart. He might not like what I say, but you know, like family's family. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah. You need good people around you too, man. The support helps a lot. Helps a lot. Well, good, man. I'm glad to hear that. I hope you keep on with your sobriety. You know, just got to keep it going day by day. And that's all we can do. But you're killing it and shit. And doesn't it feel so much better to be sober?
it really does, man. And like you're more focused when you're sober. You know, like I got a mission, dude. Like
Yeah.
for real, for real. Like
Ambition, yo.
dude's on a mission, man. Like for real, man. Hippie's got
Sick.
mission, and look, man, like you see my wall. I'm
Yeah.
not one to really back down or take some bullshit. So it's, you know, like I like to provide a laugh and some knowledge, but don't come at old boy with some bullshit, and I won't come at you with some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Facts.
stay in your motherfucking lane. That's my favorite saying. You know.
And the fuck around and find out, right? Shit.
Fuck around and find out. That's right, man.
So I wanted
Guys
to
just
talk.
don't know.
Chelsea, what up? What up? So I wanted to talk about you're building your soil because I was building some soil
Oh
today, as
yeah,
a matter of fact,
without a doubt.
and I was looking at your page, and you have way more worm casting than I do in my soil.
It's
So I wanted to
important,
ask you
man.
how much worm casting do you put per gallon of soil?
I don't really. I guess I don't really do gallons if you think about it like that aspect, man. So like
Okay.
so for example, uh we'll just say like 2 bags of soil.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like 2 bags of roots, 2 bags of ocean farm,
That'd
2 bags of
be
whatever
maybe.
whatever you want, man. Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Rick's Royal Gold is good, you know. Soil King, all them cats got good soil. No, they really do, man. Some of it's more pricey than
No,
I would want to spend,
laughing
you
at
know.
I was laughing at El Condesor. He said, "Put your thinking face on," because yesterday I was thinking so hard because I was all stoned, and so now I'm thinking about what you were saying, and
so
I was like, laughing, but
so for 2 bags of soil, right?
okay,
I will put like 15 to 20 pounds of worm castings in that bin. And then I'll also put like 10 to 12 ounces of fish bone meal, 10 to 12 ounces of bone meal,
okay,
20 to 25 ounces of bat guano, 20 to
okay,
25 ounces of blood meal, like
okay,
a cup and a quarter of oyster shell, a cup of kelp, cup of alfalfa, uh, eighth, like probably like an eighth of a cup of Epsom salt, a good quarter or third cup of dolomite lime, third cup of azomite,
and you put
couple
mycorrhiza and all that
couple
too.
teaspoons of humeric acid. What's that?
Did you put mycorrhiza and all that too?
I mean, soil. A lot of soil's got that, man. But here's the thing, right? So like when I water it, because now you got to cook it, man, and
Yeah.
cooking is all different. So that's why the bins that you saw on my thing, they're all in like different stages, man. So the ones that I amended today, that soil's like at least like 5+ years in the rotation now, and God knows how many times it's been re-amended. It just gets richer and richer. I mean, no bullshit. So, you know, I'll once the plant's done, I'll knock the dirt off, maybe a little bit of the root, and re-amend it and just recook it, man. Let it cook for like over 2 years before I let it touch the plants, man. So I'll rotate like 10 bins. We're talking big bins too, man. Like you saw on my wall.
Yeah.
So those aren't all of them, but yeah, man. And so I'll rotate these things, re-amend them. I'll go out
So
there
you
every
got a
couple.
bunch. So you got a rotation. You got one that's already ready that's been sitting 2 years,
Yeah,
and then you
yeah,
already
yeah.
have one, and you got one now. Okay, so
So
I'm not.
so
This is
like
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
my.
yeah.
I'm
No, to answer
very
your
new at
question,
building soil, so I don't build soil. This is my like very new at it. So, how long are you supposed to let it cook for?
I mean, you can get away with like 30 days, man.
Okay.
It'll be really kind of hot still.
Okay.
You can get away with like okay, so subcool, he would like recommend like 90 to 120 days. You know what I'm saying? But he would always preach the longer you cook it, the richer it gets, right? And the
Okay.
whole thing is like soil, when you use it once, man, people will throw it away, and there's not a need for that because you haven't used everything out of it, and microbes do wonders, man.
And you
And they
could just
break.
amend it.
Yeah. Well, microbes are going to break it down and all kinds of shit over time, dude. So you're adding goodness back to the already goodness and just making it richer and richer. And as you're, I mean, now, gotta do like you gotta check your stuff. Like I'll pH my soil, I'll check the moisture in it. I have like, you know, instruments that are doing that. Some people will even go as far as like, you know, test it, send it away. Like, I mean, I'm not really going that far, man. I'm not going to spend money and test it. Like, I see what it's doing. My
Okay.
plants talk to me, you know. Like, if they're not
Yeah.
happy, then
And
I
you've
would
been
know.
doing it long enough to where you can sense, or you could like just look at the soil, look at the plant, and just be able to read it, right?
Well, I mean, like I said, like I'm not letting anything touch the plant until it's cooked for a certain amount of time. And I have done a lot of reading into like what Coots and Subcool have both said, and Jeremy over at Build a Soil is doing a lot of like what Coots did from what I've seen in videos, and has worked some with Coots with what the like build a soil stuff that you can buy from them and build, which is badass too, you know. Me personally, I like what Subcool was doing, and
Yeah.
so I buy down to earth amendments, and like I said, like what you saw on my wall today. So I measured all that out and I re-amended those 2 bins. So the one bin I just emptied out because I'm going to
Yeah.
be running Blue Skies stuff, and that soil is easily over 2.5 years cooked now. And I'm going to run his stuff against some Ethos genetics, and I got one dirty bird in there, that Butt Stallion's garlic that I found out of those freebie crosses that they had given away back, and that thing's bad too. But I got faith in like this Blue Sky dude stuff because it's just funky smelling already in veg, man. So it's going in. It's going into plus 2.5+ cooked super soil, and we're gonna let it burrow the roots in here for a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, and then flip it to flower and let it
So I got a
boom,
question.
man.
I got a question. What temps do you keep your environment when you're cooking your soil? Like, do you need to? Does it have to be warm, or can it like? Because like my
Okay.
soil is out in my garage, right? And it's about to get cold. Is that gonna fuck up my soil?
No, so let's not confuse cooking. Like, so it's not like oven cooking. And
Yeah.
cooking is a term of microbes
Yeah.
breaking the soil down. Now, microbes are still working in the cold at a slower pace. It's kind
Okay.
of like when you freeze water, you get ice, you know, as you thaw it out, you get water again. So during the spring and the summer, those, especially during the summer when the heat's beating down on those, yeah, they're cooking. They're in double time, you know, like what
Yeah.
they say in the Navy. They're double time in that shit. And in the wintertime, they're still working, but they're like single time in that shit. So in the
Okay.
wintertime, if I'm up potting for flower, what I'll do is I'll go out there because I'm dedicated, man, and I'll get like frostbite in my fingers and I'll pull the bottom of that bin up to the top. I don't give a fuck. And I'll run back inside, heat my fingers up, and there's some hot water, and get back out there and I'll fill up my pots with the soil I need, and then bring it inside and let it sit for a couple days at like in a room that's in the 70-ish range.
Yeah.
Let the soil kind of warm back up and come back to life, man. And then when I'm up potting into it, I'm up potting and watering right away with like a big dose of like recharge microbes, mammoth pea, and fish shit. Like I'm
Fish shit, huh?
mixing all three together, man, making a tea out of it, and then pouring that over the roots, man. And then once they're far enough in flower, I start adding bud swell to that tea mix. So
Okay.
between the microbes and the bud swell and the super soil, plants get what they need. They know what they need, and they're pumping out dank flowers. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. I like it, brother. I like it. I was sitting there, and like you said, how some people throw away their soil. I was doing that when I first started. I didn't know what to do with my soil, so I just threw it out in the backyard, and I just started like filling up my pots and making my flower bed. But then at some point, you just get too much fucking soil, and plus it costs money. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna start building my soil. So I bought a couple bags, and I just started building soil. And ever since then, I've been reusing. And just reusing, which, I mean, I didn't know that you could reuse soil. If I would have known that, I would have been reusing it from the beginning, right? But, like, this knowledge needs to be out here so that we know this shit, doggy. Because,
Well, it's
fuck,
kind of
now,
like, I mean, you got to think about it. Like, there's a lot of trees out there in Mother Earth. And you don't see Mother Earth dumping her dirt off into space and getting a new truckload coming in, you know? Like,
yeah, facts,
motherfucking
facts.
Mother Earth knows what to do, and the microbes got that shit. Nothing against people that want to force feed salts. If you think you know how
Yeah,
to do that on par, be my guest, man. But I'm not I'd rather put the work into building the soil than put the work into checking EC and shit like that. Like, I'm not even
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
lie, man.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you know, there's a lot of buffer with soil too, so that's the other thing, man. I would rather, instead of buying like salts,
Mhm.
bottle type shit after I build my soil, I put my money into spring water, man.
Okay,
Like, for reals. I only give my plants bottled water, man.
nice.
Like, only. I give
Purified
my
water.
plants spring water, and my family gets like Food Lion water, man. I drink Food Lion water. For
Damn.
real.
Damn. Um, yeah. So have you ever seen where the salt nutrients come from?
Look, I've seen some
No,
videos
like,
on where some of those.
because I watched the Modern Marvels on where the nitrogen comes from, where the potassium and the nitrogen comes from salt or bone deposits of old dolphin and whales. Like,
That's crazy, man.
crazy,
Yeah,
bro. They,
a lot of salt heads will argue that organics break down into salts, and that's true. Everything breaks
it's
down into a
true.
salt form to be uptaken, but there's, in my opinion, and it shows in the taste of the smoke and how it burns too. I don't give a fuck what you say, dude. Yeah, it's organic done soil bud tastes hella different than synthetic hydro bud, man. So I've done it. I've
Wow.
done both. I've done them
Hey,
side by
hey,
side.
calm
So
down, calm down. We
come
don't want
at
to
it,
start a
dude.
fight. We don't want to start a fight now.
Hey, man, it's the truth. I've done
No,
them side
yeah,
by side. I've seen it.
you're
So
right. You're right. Hey,
believe
there's
people can believe what they want, man. But
yeah,
some power in soil,
there.
man. For real, for real.
I personally, I've always loved soil. I've only grown in soil, but I do have a lot of people who are telling me try DWC, try
Yeah,
you
try
know,
everything, man.
try
That's what I
everything.
believe.
See what the best results are. And me personally, I'm one of those type of people that want to try everything under the sun. At some point, I am gonna do a
If
DWC.
you're
At some point,
going if you're
I'm gonna
going
do a
for
RWC. I'm
speed
gonna
and
do a
size slide.
yeah,
So if
yeah.
you if you've
Speed
never
and
done
size is like
okay, so if you've never done DWC, look, man, if you're going for speed and size, DWC is perfect. You can crank out a lot of bud back to back because it's always in the water, it's always uptaken, and and it gets big, man. It
Yeah, they
gets
get
big. It has
big.
all the endless food that it needs, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
House Houston right here. House Houston, he grows huge plants in just one 5-gallon bucket, dude.
oh
Like,
yeah, yeah,
so,
man. No, don't get me wrong, dude. They most definitely crank out huge and
huge plants.
fast plants, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
I believe it's a different game, man. Like for real. Like so at competitions, for example, I don't think organic should be against synthetic buds. I think whatever you're growing with, you should state, and there should be like a different category for that. Just like there should be like terpene categories, you know, like your oranges and your cherries. Like
Yeah.
you shouldn't be having an orange against a cherry because the shit's totally different, man. It's not even in the same motherfucking ballpark, just like a lemon skunk and in the same ballpark as like a candy, you know, or a
Yeah.
gelato.
A
Yeah, you
runt or
should have
something,
like
right?
a candy category, or I don't even know how you do the categories. Like it would have to be thought out by good minds that discuss
Yeah.
it, you know, but you could come up with it. And then you have like your synthetic
Brother,
sides and your organic
that would
sides,
be
you
a
know?
lot. That would be a lot of categories if we did
Nah,
that.
nah,
We'd have to
you
bring
can
them
narrow
into
it
like,
down into windows, man.
okay,
You really could,
yeah,
man. You could.
yeah. With a little bit of thinking, we can figure that out. But
You
yeah,
like you know, you could have like your OG category and your fruit category, and then like a haze category. Because
yeah,
some people don't like smoking some types of bud, you know. So
yeah,
what 10 people might like, five might not. You know, some people don't like sativas; they like indica leaning. Some people don't like haze; they don't like that sandalwood taste. They like the sweet taste of like fucking
yeah,
cookies, but they like the sweet taste of the cookies, man. You know,
yeah.
like there's a place for all bud at the table, man. Just like you know, like
I
you know.
also think I think it's super fascinating the way that cannabis has all these different terpenes and like all different flavors, brother. There's so many different flavors out there that we could just like, seriously, we could literally go every day smoking a different bud, different taste. For I think fucking half of our life, definitely. There's hundreds of fucking different tastes out there.
Okay. So that brings me to real talk and growing. Why I love soil. So
Oh yeah,
over DWC or something like that. And here's like one of those factors that we're talking about. So all plants feed different, right? So a cookie strand may feed different than like an old school like Afghan strand, or you know, a sativa may feed different than an indica. Now, my ass, we'll just throw a number out there. Not saying I grow this number, but we'll just say like I'll throw 10 different fucking plants by 10 different fucking breeders,
yeah.
all in super soil of all different strands, whether it be sativa or indica, and I'll line them in the tent where I want them so that they grow a certain way. So, you know, I can lean over this one knowing that the one back there is going to get bigger so I can train it different, because it's all about the training and knowing your plant. If you're only running a plant once, you're not learning it. You got to run a strand over and over again and learn the strand so you can get the top capabilities out of it. It's great if you're hobby growing and you're running all different strands all the time and trying stuff out. But if you're really looking for some perfection, you need to be running that specific strand and learning it over and over again. I'm running my hash plant on its like 10th go now. Same plant cut over and over again.
Oh, you just re-vegged it?
No, dude. I'm a firm believer that if you take care of stuff properly, you do not get degradation. So I will cut a plant before I put it into flower, clone that out, grow it
Oh,
up, cut
okay.
off of it, and I'll keep
Mm-hmm.
a strand going that way. You can
Okay.
juggle strands that way. You don't have to keep mother plants that way. You can
Yeah,
juggle a
personally,
lot
that's what I'm doing right
smaller.
now with my triple crown. I've had this strain for almost 6, 7 months now, almost since last year. Fuck, it's been a while, and that's all I'm doing is just growing a new plant out, clone that, keep it
Yeah,
going, dude.
so that's the great thing about soil, right? So like all these plants feed different. Well, so in DWC, you're having to make your water batch. You got to test it, and you want to put whatever feed in it. But those plants might feed different, so you might burn one, man.
Oh,
You might kill
yeah.
one. You might have one that thrives like the Hulk, you know? I'm gonna tell you what though.
Still there? What happened? Everybody let me know what happened. I can't see
Like
Nick
in
over
Mother
there. Hey,
Nature, man. You know?
okay.
So it's
What were
pretty
you saying?
much like
You
that's why I
kind of,
went back to soil, man.
okay.
Like, you know how you're
Oh yeah,
talking
man.
about trying other things, you know, like I said, man, I've been growing almost 30 years. I've tried everything. That's why I went back to building soil right there. Man likes variety. You can't
Yeah,
get variety of the nature that you want and the caliber that you want when you got to feed something the same, because not everything. Me and you, Sly, at the dinner table, we ain't going to eat the same steak the same way. I might not like mashed potatoes. You might motherfucking love them. I might like them all au gratin. You might like a baked potato. You know,
yep,
French
yep.
fries, man. Some people like them with ketchup, some mayo.
Some people like them
Variety,
steamed.
man. Variety is the
Some people like
flavor
them
of
baked.
life.
Yeah, like a
Not
baked
for real.
potatoes here.
That's the other
Yeah,
problem with big corporate weed. They're growing like one straight strand or two straight strands. Like, oh, we got a gelato and a Skittles, and they're on a force-fed hydro system. So, what's the consumer got at the end of the day? A gelato or a Skittles? A craft batch consumer? They got the variety of the rainbow, man.
yeah, shit. I'm, God, I really don't want to see what the corporation companies are going to come up with, but I'm curious. I'm curious. I want to see if they're going to actually get some good people behind them and start like, like coming out with some shit that's not all about the money, Because that's what we're all scared about, this fucking them taking all the money and shit and just caring about money. But what if they actually got some people in there who actually cared about the product and came out with some good products? Do you think that would eh, never poop only gas, baby? But do you think that could be possible?
I mean, anything's possible, but at a big level, all they care about is money. They don't care about
Yeah,
quality.
yeah, you're
Look,
right, brother.
dude. Okay. For real, like, okay, like for example, Seth Rogen has a weed line, right?
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you think that motherfucker's smoking his weed line, or you think he's smoking like some craft batch strand that he grew or one of his buddies grew, like, and put love into it?
Probably his buddies.
Yeah, man, for real, for real.
Probably. Yeah, yeah, you're probably right.
And so that's why I think corporate weed is also scared of craft batch weed, because at the end of the day, if the consumer could choose to go to a jazz lounge and smoke some dank, or stop at the dispensary and pay for some overpriced molded booth, what's the consumer gonna go do, man? Listen to some live jazz and smoke some dank, man. At least that's what I would do.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is that there's like the older cats. The older cats don't mind this booth that the dispensary is bringing out, because they're like, they smoked booth and stems and shit back in the day because that's all they had,
No,
right? I'm
no,
talking
no,
like
no.
fuck.
See, the old heads I
I'm
know,
talking like the older people, like my mom and my father-in-law.
oh,
Like
we have no.
when I try to bring
See,
them the bomb shit, they're like, oh yeah, it's good, but if they had some red bud, they'd still smoke that too and be perfectly happy. And I'm like, no, like you can't be smoking booth around me at least. I won't allow it.
I think I think the dispensary is good for like the consumer who just wants to smoke some weed and
Right.
doesn't care about what kind of weed they want to smoke. And there are a lot of people like that, and that's totally fine. And there it needs to
Yeah.
be a market for those people.
Yeah.
Just like there needs to be a market for the motherfuckers that like Ferraris and Corvettes. Not everybody wants to drive a Pinto, you know? But there is the Pinto market for the people that want the Pinto.
Yeah.
And that is where legislative people need to wake the fuck up and see that some people want that Lamborghini or Ferrari, and they don't just want that Pinto money making fucking assembly line piece of shit that you're
Yeah.
trying to offer people. End of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah. Facts. Yeah, and there's always gonna be those people who want to build their own cars. You know what I mean? Like build their own Ferraris and
Hey
all
man,
this shit. Like me, like I want to build my own. I want to make my own strand. I want to make my own thing. Like I gotta figure it out for myself, because nowadays I'm always about the apocalypse and shit. When shit goes down and you're gonna have to do it for yourself, like you're gonna want that knowledge, right? And so I don't know
Hey,
where I was
look,
going with
like
that.
old boy said, I can run a trout line, I can hunt, and I can fish and grow. The apocalypse goes down, you better want to be with me, man.
Facts.
Better be keeping up. Old boy can run.
Right. So I wanted to ask you about your IPM regimen. What do you do for pests, man? Because I'm dealing with fungus gnats at the moment. And yesterday, I don't know if you tapped in, but yesterday, me and VIP Plantations were talking about neem cakes. Have you ever used these? And do you know anything about them?
Nope.
I never heard of
I am
it,
a
huh?
nope. I'm a Damascus earth and beneficial nematode cat. And my super
Where do you
soil when
get
I
them?
man, you can get Damascus earth on Amazon cheap, man. I
The
actually have
nematodes?
some. You can get those on Amazon too,
Amazon
man.
too. Okay.
There's a company out of Oregon that sells the nematodes on Amazon.
Okay.
They're a little independent type company. They sell ladybugs. They sell predator mites. If you got a mite problem, I'm a firm believer in getting the predator mites. You know, like I said, organics, man. They're Mother Nature
Yeah.
can cure it all, dude.
Yeah.
So when I build the super soil, I'll put a cup or two of Damascus earth into it and mix that up in there. I'll also so so for example, like when I get a pot and I'm up potting into it, like I posted the other day, I'll put like 3/4 of the 3 gallon with the super soil because I have a 1 gallon built up thing of roots that's going to sit right on that. And then around that, you got a little bit of space. So I always will have a little bin of just, unhot type dirt. And I'll add like 4 or 5 quarts of perlite to a
Yeah.
bag of soil like that. And I'll also add a cup of Damascus earth and I'll mix that in. So Damascus earth is like basically small glass shards to shelled bugs. So aphids, fungus gnats, anything like that. It gets in their joints and it bleeds them out, man. Like if I were to drop you in a big pool of knives, man. You start trying to swim your way out. That's what that shit does to them. And
Really?
yes, and then beneficial nematodes eat larvae. So they're
Okay.
just swimming around in the soil, eating up that larvae. So if you have a problem with those things, nothing is an instant cure, keep in mind. But I'm going to tell you
Okay.
what, you do what I just told you, and within a week, you will notice a difference. And within 2 weeks, they'll be gone, and you will never see them again. And so, like,
I
I'll
want to
take
write
my
that down. Can you give me that one more time? You said the nematodes, right?
beneficial nematodes.
And what was the other one for the soil? The little glass?
It's called Damascus Earth. D-A, I'm horrible at spelling,
Yeah, me too. Bad.
Damacusas Earth. It's a food
Damascus
grade.
earth.
It's a food grade product. They actually put it into a livestock feed to stop it from getting fungus gnats, so that the cows can eat the feed and it doesn't rot out and go bad from bugs getting in it. And it's fully organic, doesn't hurt your plants in any way. And like I said, it kills any kind of bad shit in your soil. So I build it into my super soil. I build it into my base soils, and then I water on the first water when I up pot anytime. When I just recently up potted, I watered with the beneficial nematodes in the water, and I put the recharge, the fish shit, and the mammoth pea in there to start boosting the microbe population right away. So the roots, when they dig down, oh, and I also put on the top of it microbe lists, so that when the roots hit the microbe lists, they steroid out down into the super soil too. So you got
Nice.
it's combos of different things that I'm doing, man.
Hey, definitely
It's not
you
just
put in a
like
lot of.
one thing,
You
you know.
definitely got a lot of components towards your recipe of the way that you grow, and I
So,
definitely like it, brother. I gotta let you know though, we're at the 59-minute mark. We only got 1 minute left. I want
word.
to tell everybody, make sure to go give the Family Cannabis Tree Company a follow. Nick here, give him a follow, man. Go check him out. He's a very knowledgeable guy. Once again, I want to thank you so much for coming on here, brother.
Yeah.
You
Hey
are
man,
very
I appreciate you
knowledgeable.
having me, man. Anytime you got a question or you just want to cut it up, Sly, you know where to find me, man. I'm always around, man.
Yeah, you know it, baby
Be
boy. I'll be fucking
peeping
texting
like
you,
the Wizard
man.
of Oz sometimes, you know, hiding behind my curtain, but I'm there.
Nice. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tapping in, man. We'll be seeing you next week for another episode of CannaConvos. You already know, like Hey Loco here. Make sure to give Nick here, Family Cannabis Company, a follow. Go check him out. Yeah, everybody have a great day, man. And thanks again, brother.
Later.
See you later.